when we had a boiler explosion in our house, we had the opportunity to turn something that was kind of tragic into our triumph with this beautiful kitchen renovation that we never expected would happen so quickly, but we love the transformation that happened, and I hope you do too. This is a project that's very near and dear to my heart, and I have to say this client is amazing, but a little bit difficult too, because this project, this design client is yours truly. So if you want to see how we turned a tragedy into a triumph, stay tuned for the details on this project. So Kevin and I had a fairly traumatic experience in our home where we had an explosion. We had a boiler explosion, which is a story in and of itself, and as a result of it, we had major renovations to do in our home, and one of them was our kitchen. So previously it had been functional. It really wasn't our aesthetic. It was lovely, but it just really didn't match what my aesthetic was. But since it was working and it was in good condition, we had no plans to renovate it anytime soon because we had other things we wanted to accomplish. But because we had this explosion, we had the opportunity to update and bring everything to the floor plan that we preferred and the overall aesthetic. But since this is what I do all day, every day, this was really hard for me to land on what do I want, because I get to design beautiful kitchens for all of my clients, and I follow what their tastes and their preferences are, and I see all of these beautiful projects, and I really felt a lot of pressure as to how am I going to incorporate all of these amazing attributes into one kitchen. So I waited till the last minute, and then I landed on a really luxurious monochromatic color story and design scheme, because that's what I like. I really love to have a monochromatic look in any space, because to me it's like the perfect little black dress. It's a fantastic foundation for you to accessorize, accent with different colors, and really have fun with the space and not really being bound to, you know, one particular color. So I like to design and decorate for the seasons and change things up. So there's a lot of different colors, from orange in the fall, red in the winter, pink for Valentine's Day. So I wanted a monochromatic design, and what I opted for is beautiful inset shaker style cabinetry. I love an inset cabinet door. It is both old world craftsmanship meets modern aesthetic, so you get this really high-end overall flush look and just really, really lovely. We opted for flat front drawers to really give us a modern, clean look, and we have a quartz countertop, which is a cool white with a bold gray veining pattern that I just love. It's interesting and really makes a statement, which, you know, I love. And to elevate the overall look of the space, we went with a waterfall end on either side of the island. And that again just brings in more of a contemporary, opulent, lush look. And we were able to do it in this space because we didn't need the extra seating at either end of the island. It's a 10-foot island, and we have seating for 4 because there's 4 in our family. And the space, the architectural focal point for the space is a magnificent hood that is over the cooktop. And we have high ceilings in this kitchen, so I really had fun with that and opted for this very large crushed stone hood that reminds me of a French chateau aesthetic. It's old world, it's elegant, but it's also textural because it has a little bit of that texture of the crushed stone. And so we were bound to the specific colors that the manufacturer offered, but then of course we customized it to match the cabinetry color of the surrounding cabinets, a custom color by Ben Moore that's a light gray, a very true gray, which I really wanted to have something that was very truly gray, because gray has a lot of different undertones and nuances to it. So I wanted a very clean gray, so it's very light and lovely. And even though it is the architectural focal point, it blends in seamlessly and very cohesively with the cabinetry. cabinetry, and I just love the proportion and the balance that it adds to the space. And so for the backsplash, we went with a marble and antiqued mirror backsplash, and I love an antiqued mirror moment. I love the reflection, the shimmer, but I love the age that the antiquing process gives to the mirror. So it makes it a little more dynamic, a little more textural, and also adds some age to the space, which I think is very interesting and compelling for me. And so it's done in a quatrefoil shape, which is a classic European shape, and that has a marble inside of the quatrefoil. So again, we have that organic texture that's light and white and gray and varying colors and vein patterns. That's very interesting and dynamic, but still monochromatic. So I love that combination. And within the space, we were able to add a beverage center, which is particularly terrific because when you have family over, you're hosting, you're having parties, you're having the holidays, it's wonderful to have a space designated just for beverages so that, you know, your friends, your family, they can help themselves. You can set up the beverage area before everybody arrives, and they can help themselves while you, as the host, are able to continue in the kitchen space, whether you're pulling things out of the oven, stirring something on the stove, or, you know, taking something from the caterer and putting it on the island. It keeps the workspaces separated, which is really nice because when you have a large gathering and you're the hostess or the host, you want to have your designated workspace. You don't want your guests to be in the workspace. And I sort of take pleasure in kicking family out of my workspace. I say, if you're not working, you're out of here. So it's great because they can sit on the other side of the island. They can help themselves to the beverages. We can talk and, you know, chat while I'm, you know, cooking or cutting or preparing whatever I'm doing. And it's really nice to have that opportunity to engage and face our guests in that way. Over this island, I opted for 2 oversized lanterns done in a polished chrome, which complement the overall gray color story of the space and the cool white countertop. So they're large and they're open. They have no glass. They have a classic candelabra style inside of them, which is really interesting. But I love the modern take of a New England classic lantern. I just think it's beautiful. It also has some curvature at the top, which makes it feel interesting, a little bit more cultural, even a tiny bit of, you know, maybe an Asian influence to it, and just makes it really interesting and dynamic because, hey, that's the kind of client I am. And over at the bar area, we have an undermount rectangular bar sink, and then we have a polished chrome bar faucet, which has a pull-down spray function, which is terrific. And for that backsplash, I opted for an antiqued mirror subway tile. It's a smaller scale, has a bit of a bevel, but again, it's acknowledging the backsplash that's in the other part of the kitchen, the workspace underneath the hood and over at the sink, because that also has the antique mirror. But this backsplash is all antiqued mirror subway tiles, and it just makes it a little sexy, a little interesting over there. And in this bar area, we incorporated a dishwasher, which is fantastic because all of the glasses, stemware, cups, mugs, all of the vessels that you drink out of are in this beverage area. So it's fantastic to have its own designated dishwasher in that space. We were also able to add an ice maker, which is just a really lovely addition to any kitchen space, but especially a beverage area, because the ice that is generated from this ice maker is just really makes every drink, even your glass of water, taste wonderful. And one other interesting aspect of this kitchen is that our sink. So I saw an inspiration online that I duplicated in my kitchen. So we went with a farmhouse sink over in front of a window because I'm a firm believer that if I'm doing dishes, I want to be looking outside. So that's where we kept the sink, and we opted to create this farmhouse sink out of the quartz countertop. So it's a large basin, it's gorgeous, and the countertop just flows into the sink, which is really gorgeous. And we have the apron front done in the quartz. So it just really brings more of that countertop into the viewpoint, and it's dynamic, it's rich, it's really, really beautiful. And I couldn't love this space more. One other little thing that we had was an existing cabinet with pull-out drawers, and luckily they didn't have to be redone as a result of the explosion that we had. But what we did add was this really cool barn door in the space. I love the rustic, elegant attributes that it brings into the space. We happen to have exposed beams in this cathedral ceiling, so we have a little bit of that rustic, vibe going. So I carried that on in with the barn door, but I did that in a chevron pattern to keep it updated and modern, which really reflects some of the other attributes, the waterfall edge detail, for example, in the island. But I couldn't love this space more, even though I was a challenging client and I did wait until the last minute. Overall, we love this space. We enjoy this space, and we are making so many family memories, fun memories. All the things happen in anyone's kitchen, and ours is no different, but I love the way it turned out. Check me out on YouTube and you can see the entire thing. And if you have questions, or if any of this inspired you in some way, please share it. I love to hear it, love talking about designs, and I also love to see pictures. So share those, and thanks for tuning in.